Welcome back to another rambling from our internet random. Today I'm going to talk about the Russell T Davies era of Doctor Who, specifically the first era of his, because he was showrunner twice. He was showrunner in the 2000s and in the sort of early to mid 20s. He was showrunner first time round for 4.5 seasons, and let's just be perfectly honest with ourselves, the best the reboot ever got. Maybe the best days are ahead of it. Maybe we're going into another golden age. It sounds like to me the BBC want a series 16 of the show. Series 15 just went out, but the future of the show's pretty uncertain. I think we're going to get series 16 eventually, probably in 2027. But anyway, that's another video. So let's start with Series 1, which I'm not going to lie, is my favourite season of the reboot. It's a 10 out of 10 season for me. It's Christopher Eccleston's only season as Doctor Who. Of course, the sidekick for this series is Rose Tyler, played by Billie Piper, which a lot of people hate. I don't get the hate for Rose Tyler. Actually, I do. She is a bit horrible to Mickey, her boyfriend in the show. And I guess she's just sort of like she's meant to be a teenage girl, so I guess a lot of people find that annoying. I never minded her. She's not my favourite companion. She's like middle of the road companion for me. Series 1 filled with some of the best episodes of Doctor Who. Dalek is a masterpiece. The Empty Child is a masterpiece. Bad Wolf is a masterpiece. It's got a solid opener, Rose. I'm a fan of the Aliens of London two-parter. Bit cheesy, bit dated, but, you know, screw it. There isn't really a bad season, a bad episode in the season. The worst it gets is like I think it's called the Unquiet. Is it the Unquiet Dead or the Unquite Dead? Anyway. Or Boomtown, that's the worst it gets. But they're not bad stories, you know what I mean? They're entertaining, but just not as entertaining as like Dalek or Bad Wolf. A Wonderful Wee Season came out in 2005. From what I hear, it was meant to be a standalone. People were really doubtful that the show would get a second season, but it was an unexpected hit. Massive in the UK at this time, and so a second season was greenlit. Series 2, 2006. You have David Tennant as Doctor Who, the most popular incarnation in the modern era in the reboot, and also my favourite Doctor Who. Christopher Eccleston is a close second. Rose Tyler is back as the sidekick. I'm not crazy about this season. It's good. It's like a 7 out of 10 for me. But it's just the episodes I don't think are as good as Series 1. I know some people really get annoyed at the whole romance between the Doctor and Rose. Some people say it's actually a bit weird. When I first watched it, when I was like a teenager, and stuff, I found it quite cringe. Now, as an adult, yeah, I am an adult, even though I look like a child. Yeah, I look like a fetus. I don't mind it as much. It is a bit much, but, you know, whatever. The Girl in the Fireplace is a masterpiece. I never understood the hype for Rise of the Cybermen. to be quite frank with you. The Impossible Planet two-part is okay. I love Love and Monsters, though. It has to be the weirdest Doctor Who story ever made. Peter Kay is like the villain of that episode. He's like a big green guy that looks like Fat B-Word from the Austin Powers movies. And of course at the end, someone starts a romantic relationship with a stone slab, and yeah. Series 2 has a much bigger budget than Series 1, from what I can tell. And it's just a prime example of bigger budget doesn't always mean better. Anyway, let's move on to Series 2, which came out in 2007. The sidekick is switched out for Martha Jones, who I think is an improvement over Rose Tyler. She actually has a bit of depth to her. And she's a lot smarter than Rose Martha, at least in this season, is a doctor. First half of Series 3, meh. The second half goes nuts. Human Nature, Family of Blood, Blink, Utopia, Sound of Drums, Last of the Time Lords. Banger after banger after banger. It's just insane. It's also the first season I watched of the show, and when I was a wee lad. Yeah. At the time, there's a bit of controversy, because I think I've got this right. Because obviously, the actress that plays Martha Jones is black, and apparently that's a step too far. Martha Jones being the first black sidekick of the Doctors. You know, it took 45 years, but oh well. Better late than never. David Tennant's Doctor Who has 3 distinct phases. In his first season, he's like a child, a giddy child. Second season, this season, he's like a teenage boy, a sulky teenage boy. But it's an improvement on his early season. Yeah. The finale to the season is 3 parts. It's also religious themed. Part 1 of the finale is called Utopia. The villain of the story at the end of the second part quotes Genesis, and they resolve the whole plot by people effectively praying to the Doctor. I know people have a lot of criticism for the Utopia 3-parter, but I love it. I think it's amazing. Anyway, let's go into Series 4, 2008. Series 3 I'd give a 7 out of 8. Anyway, 7 out of 10. Series 4, probably the best series of the reboot objectively, and probably most fans' favourite season. My second favourite, I'd give it it's probably 10 out of 10. I would personally give it a 9 out of 10. It's probably 10 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 though. The sidekick is switched out for Donna Noble, who's one of the best sidekicks ever. She's just some mouthy, middle-aged woman, which is quite nice when you've got these young English women, young Southern English women, and you get this. No, Donna Noble's Southern as well, isn't she? Oh, at least she's a mouthy middle-aged woman. Is she middle-aged? Have I just insulted the actress there? I don't know. I hope I didn't. At least more mature, we'll say that. This was nearly the last season of the reboot, because Russell T Davies wanted to bow out with this one. The Still on Earth two-parter was meant to be the last episodes of his era, from what I recall. And you could tell because it's a very grand story. It tries to wrap up all the story arcs leading up to this point in the reboot. In this season, you've got great episodes like Midnight or Turn Left. Again, Donna's just a very good counter to the Doctor. She's not going to put up with any of his fucking silly boyishness or any romance or anything. But she's not a battle axe either. She's not like a... she's not... There's a tendency in modern media, whenever you have to have like a strong-willed female character, she has to be Hitler. Which doesn't need to be the case. I've met... I know of... Well, I've met... And I know of many strong-willed women and, perfectly nice people. Perfectly nice people. Respectable people. Some of them actually I have quite a bit of respect for. But in modern media, they just come off a lot of the time as unlikable douchebags. The sort of behaviour you wouldn't tolerate from men, never mind women. Behaviour you wouldn't tolerate from anybody. Anyway. Series 4 is definitely the peak of one Doctor Who, the best it ever got. But the BBC didn't want to let Russell bail. They said, could you make us a Series 5? He was like, no, this show's killing me, man. I'm smoking like a bloody fucking bale of hay on fire, Ken. And so they came to a compromise. They made a mini-series, which I like to call Series 4.5, which aired from 2008 to 2010. It's composed of 5 episodes, 5 specials, while a normal RTD1 season is 13 episodes long. And I can quickly run through the specials. Special 1, The Next Doctor, is boring. Special 2, Planet of the Dead, is boring. Special 3, The Waters of Mars, is one of the best Doctor Who episodes ever written by anybody. It was written by Russell T Davies and Phil Ford. Wonderful story. Definitely in my top 10 modern stories, maybe in my top 10 Doctor Who stories in general. Episodes 4 and 5, End of Time Part 1, End of Time Part 2. Stupid plot, but amazing character drama. And of course, Series 4.5 is the last run of episodes with David Tennant as the Doctor. But I think Russell was just stressed to fudging back. Because, not his best work. This is definitely the weakest part of his first run. I'd probably give the special something like a 5 out of 10. Even though you have episode 3, which is a banger. 5 out of 10. You don't really have a sidekick for this mini-series. It's just the Doctor on his lonesome. Or you have sidekicks, but they're only for like an episode. Of course, you have Tennant's regeneration in the final episode, and his huge, big, long goodbye speech, or goodbye fucking tour, which I actually quite like. They shouldn't do this with every Doctor, but I actually quite like it. But anyway, there's my thoughts on the Russell T Davies era, the first one. Overall, if I were to rank this era of the show out of 10, I'd probably give it something like... that's tough. There's definitely flaws in it, but it's pretty good. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It's definitely flawed, especially at the end. But this era is why people watch the show in the first place. And then it's quite depressing, because you watch reactions to Doctor Who, which I do a lot. Like YouTube videos that are reactions to Doctor Who. I feel like people just get disappointed because they're like, shit, this show peaked early, bro. We can talk more about that in other videos. But goodbye for now. Bye-bye.